Hello and welcome to Let's Play Phantoms of Fear by Robin Waterfield. This is book number 28 in the Fighting Fantasy series. Here's the front cover. Sorry about the blackness there, that's part of the PDF scan, I'm afraid. Anyway, let's read the synopsis. Fighting fantasy books, over 13 million copies sold worldwide. How can you, a humble wood elf, overcome the demon prince Ishtra? A humble wood elf you may be, yet it's you the gods have chosen to take on Ishtra and his gathering army of evil, chaotic creatures. You must penetrate this force before it becomes invincible. As a demon prince, Ishtra cannot be overpowered by weapons made by any earthly race, even by the most magical sword of the High Elves. So what can you do against him? Perhaps the Wood Elves' powerful art of dream control could give you important advantages and allow you to cast spells at vital moments in your adventure. 2 dice, a pencil and an eraser are all you need. You decide which paths to take, which dangers to risk, and which monsters to fight. Cover and illustrations by Ian Miller. And there are Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone. I might have said this before, but it always looks like they're on holiday, like in Benidorm or something. Anyway, enough of that. Right, let's move on to the next page. We have to zoom in here because the PDF's a bit awkward. Puffin Books, Phantoms of Fear. A humble wood elf you may be, but it's you the gods have come to in a dream, and you they have singled out to take on the might of Ishtra and his growing force of evil creatures. In a dream, you learn that at this moment, deep beneath your home in the Afan forest, a cruel army is being assembled by Ishtra. You must penetrate this force before its strength becomes invincible. As a demon prince, Ishtra cannot be killed by a weapon of any earthly race. Even the most magical sword of the High Elves would have no power over him. So what effect can you, with your lesser powers, have on him? Perhaps the answer to this lies in the Wood Elves' art of dream control, governed by the faculty of power, which could give you certain important advantages and allow you to cast spells at vital moments in your adventure. 2 dice, a pencil and an eraser are all you need to embark on this thrilling adventure, which is complete with its elaborate combat system and a score sheet on which to record your gains and losses. Many dangers lie ahead and your success is by no means certain. It's up to you to decide which route to follow, which dangers to risk, and which adversaries to fight. Okay, let's start this off. So I'll put a timestamp, as they say, in the video description. The first one will take you. The first timestamp will take you to the introduction sort of information, if there is one. I can't remember. The second one will take you directly to paragraph 1. Anyway, for now we're going to read this. Excuse me. I'm just recovering from a mild cold. Okay, Puffin Books, Phantoms of Fear. A humble wood elf you may be, but it's you the gods have come to in a dream. And we've just read that, haven't we? So they've repeated that, so I won't read that again. Okay, so Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone present Phantoms of Fear. Robin Waterfield, illustrated by Ian Miller, and Puffin Books. Published by Puffin Books. Okay, so we just did Star Strider. That was fun, wasn't it? Now we're on Phantoms of Fear, so that's book number 28. Off we go. Okay, to Steve and Ian. I wonder who they could be. That's a real head scratcher, as the Americans say. Anyway, introduction. You are a wood elf in northeast Cool. Your home is deep within Afan Forest, a remnant of the one forest of old. Your father was a warrior and your mother a shaman. Or should it be Shay woman? I'm just being silly there. And you have inherited both talents. You are neither as mighty a warrior as your father, nor as adept at magic as your mother, but you are good to have around in a fight. You can weave a few useful spells, and you can also enter into the dream world, which is a shaman's special realm. Both your parents are dead, and you are now Elden Nurin, defender shaman of the tribe. You are about to embark on a hazardous adventure. Before doing so, you must determine your strengths and weaknesses. On pages 20 to 21, there is an adventure sheet for recording the details of your adventure. You are advised either to write on the adventure sheet in pencil or to make photocopies of the pages to use in future adventures. Apart from a pencil and an eraser, you will need 2 ordinary 6-sided dice to play this book as a game. Skill, stamina, luck and power. Roll 1 die, add 6 to this number and enter the total in the skill box on the adventure sheet. Okay, let's do that now. No. Yes. Okay, that was lucky, wasn't it? So we get a 5. 5 plus 6 is 11. So we get 11 skill. You know how lucky I am. Okay, roll both dice. Add 12 to the number rolled and enter the total in the stamina box. No. 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 Come on. There we go. I would have accepted 10 or more, so 11 it is. That was lucky, wasn't it? Blimey, my luck. I feel really lucky. I should buy a lottery ticket. Okay, 11 plus 12 is 23. Remember, the purpose of these videos is just to show you the book, really. It's not... Yes, I know I'm cheating, boo-hoo, but it's to show you the book and complete the game, you know... Yeah, and to show a video of that. I don't care if I'm cheating. Apart from that, I try not to cheat. Okay. Okay, next thing. Roll 1 die and add 6 to find your initial score in luck. Okay. So roll 1 die, add 6 to the score. Okay, that was lucky, and I mean that. That was first time. So 6 plus 6 is 12. So that gives me 12 initial luck. Don't need that anymore. That was from Star Strider. I forgot to erase that. Never mind. Okay, so luck is 12. Roll both dice and add 6. This is the amount... This is the number of PowerPoints with which you start your adventure. If it's a countable noun that can be pluralized, then it's number of PowerPoints. You know, if it's something like sugar, then it's the amount of sugar, or amount of money, you know, then it's going to be the amount of money because it's undetermined how much there is. It's just an amount. But when there's a number, you know, when it's countable, it's number of PowerPoints. Anyway, so roll both dice and add 6. Well, yeah, that'll do. 8, whatever. 14. Right, so that's 14 PowerPoints. Let's put that down. PowerPoints. Alright, okay. For reasons that will be explained below, your skill, stamina, luck, and power scores will change constantly during your adventure. You must keep an accurate record of these scores, and for this reason you are advised either to write small in the boxes or to keep an eraser handy, but never rub out your initial scores. As in other fighting fantasy game books, although you may be awarded additional skill, stamina, and luck points, these totals may never exceed your initial scores except on very rare occasions, when you will be instructed on a particular page. Note, however, that your power score may exceed its initial value. Your skill score reflects your expertise as an adventurer with a weapon and in other situations. Your stamina score reflects your physical fitness. Your luck score indicates how naturally lucky a person you are. Your power score determines how good you are at casting spells and how well you can cope with the dream world, which is the special domain of wood elf shamans like you. That's a redundant reflexive. In the case of each of these scores, the higher the better. Battles. You will often come across pages in the book which instruct you to fight a creature of some sort. You may be able to use magic to resolve the combat, but if you cannot, or you choose not to, or for some reason the spell is not enough to defeat your opponent, you must resolve the battle as described below. First, record your opponent's skill and stamina scores in the first vacant encounter box on your adventure sheet. The scores for each opponent are given in the book each time you have an encounter. The sequence of actual combat is then as follows. 1. Roll both dice once for your opponent. Add its skill score. This total is your opponent's attack strength. 2. Roll both dice once for yourself. Add your current skill score. This total is your attack strength. 3. If your attack strength is higher than your opponent's, you have wounded it. Proceed to step 4. If its attack strength is higher than yours, it has wounded you. Proceed to step 5. If both attack strength totals are the same, you have avoided each other's blows. Start the next attack round from step 1 above. 4. You have wounded your opponent, so subtract 2 points from its stamina score. You may use luck here to do additional damage, see below. 5. Your opponent has wounded you, so subtract 2 points from your stamina score. Again, you may use luck at this stage, see below. 6. Begin the next attack round by repeating the procedure. This continues until the stamina score of either you or your opponent has been reduced to 0, which is death. Okay. Fighting more than one opponent. If you have more than one opponent ranged against you in a battle, the instructions on that page will tell you what to do. Sometimes you will treat them as a single opponent, sometimes you will fight each one in turn. Sometimes you will have to fight them all simultaneously. Luck. At various times during your adventure, either in battles or when you come across situations in which you could be either lucky or unlucky, details of these are given on the pages themselves, you may call on your luck to make the outcome more favourable. But beware, using luck is a risky business, and if you are unlucky, the results could be disastrous. The procedure, called testing your luck, is as follows. Roll 2 dice. If the number rolled is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky and the result will go in your favour. If the number rolled is higher than your current luck score, you have been unlucky and you will be penalised. Each time you test your luck, you must subtract 1 point from your current luck score. Thus, you will soon realise that the more you rely on your luck, the more risky this will become. Using luck in battles. On certain pages of the book, you will be told to test your luck, and you will find out the consequences of being lucky or unlucky. However, in battles, you always have the option of using your luck either to inflict a more serious wound on an opponent you have just wounded, or to minimise the effects of a wound you have just received. If you have just wounded your opponent, you may test your luck as described above. If you are lucky, you have inflicted a severe wound and may subtract an extra 2 points from its stamina score. If you are unlucky, however, the wound turns out to be a mere graze, and you must restore 1 point to your opponent's stamina, i.e. instead of scoring the normal 2 points of damage, you have now scored only 1. If your opponent has just wounded you, you may test your luck to try to minimise the wound. If you are lucky, you have managed to avoid the full force of the blow. Restore 1 stamina point, i.e. instead of losing 2 points, you lose only 1. If you are unlucky, you have taken a more serious wound and must subtract 1 extra stamina point. Remember that you must subtract 1 point from your luck score each time you test your luck. Power. When you are dreaming and when you are casting spells, power is the relevant faculty. Dreams. The deities of your people communicate through dreams. They tell you what to do, though sometimes the instructions are open to more than one interpretation. They refresh you and restore your powers. The same power allows you both to cast spells and to be an effective dreamer. As you know, most beings dream, but they do not possess the art of dream control. It is not up to them whether or not they dream, or what they dream, or whether their dreams are the mere ramblings of an unwinding mind, or what elves call dreams of potency. Your race has long known the art of active dreaming. Your training allows you sometimes not to be taken over by dreams, and to exert your will to manipulate and be effective in that world just as anyone is in this world. Thus, by dreaming, you encounter situations which parallel, often in a bizarre fashion, the familiar everyday world. You will often find yourself asleep and dreaming in the course of your adventure. The types of situation into which you will get in dreams will parallel those of reality. There will be choices to make, but otherwise dream routes and dream encounters will be entirely governed by power and occasionally by luck. There will even be dream combat against illusory opponents. The book will tell you how to handle such encounters. If you lose such a battle, you will usually not really be killed or overcome, but you may suffer loss of power. If you win, your power may be increased. Power points will also be gained and lost by successfully or unsuccessfully coping with the dream world. Spells. Spells can be cast only in the real world, not in a dream. In fact, you should be warned never to confuse the dream world with the real world. You are not a master magician. You know only half a dozen spells, which are mostly of the sort which are useful to a peaceful wood elf going about his or her daily business. Nevertheless, you may well find them useful in your adventure. Casting spells depletes your energy, however, and every time you cast a spell, you must reduce your power score by 1 point. All the spells at your command are only temporary and last no more than a quarter of an hour. You can use the spells in battle only if it is feasible to do so. The book will tell you when you can. The spells available to you are as follows. Spell effect. Protect. Casts a power of invisibility. I think that's pronounced power. Casts a pall of invisibility over the area surrounding you. Elves use this to protect their villages, for instance. Beware of including an opponent within the pall, because he would still be able to see you within it. He or she, though you would both be invisible from outside. Illusion allows you to make anything yourself included appear to be anything else within reason. For instance, you cannot make a molehill appear to be a mountain. Weaken reduces an opponent's stamina by 4 points. Levitation allows you to float freely in the air up to a ceiling of about 4 yards, 12 feet. Since you also float gently to the ground under the influence of the spell, it could also be used for descending a cliff, for instance. Finding allows you to detect the presence of something. It may be treasure, a secret passage, or even a lurking enemy. The spell has only a short range. Fire allows you to produce flames from your fingertips, which you can project either to a small area, such as an opponent's chest, or to create a barrier of fire, or even just to keep yourself warm. Restoring skill, stamina, luck, and power. Skill. Your skill score will not change much during your adventure. Occasionally, a page may give instructions to increase or decrease your skill score, but it can never exceed its initial value unless specifically instructed. Drinking the potion of skill, see below, will restore your skill to its initial level at any time. Stamina. Your stamina score will change a lot during your adventure as you fight and undertake arduous tasks. As you near your goal, your stamina level may be dangerously low, and battle will then be particularly risky, so be careful. Stamina can be restored by rest, food, and drink. You will not start your adventure with any provisions, but you will have the opportunity to gather some along the way. Well, let's write that down. So provisions naught at the moment. Yeah, along the way. You must note how many meals worth of provisions you have in the provisions remaining box of the adventure sheet. Every time you eat 1 meal's worth, you may restore up to 4 stamina points and must cross off 1 point from your provisions. You may rest and eat at any time except when engaged in a battle. Remember that you have a long way to go, so use your provisions wisely. Remember also that your stamina score may never exceed its initial value unless you are specifically told that it can. Drinking the potion of strength, see below, will restore your stamina to its initial level at any time. Luck. Additions to your luck score are awarded in the adventure when you have been particularly lucky or have created your own luck by some action. Details are given on the relevant pages of the book. Remember that, as with skill and stamina, your luck score may never exceed its initial value unless you are specifically told that it can. Drinking the potion of fortune, see below, will restore your luck to its initial level at any time and increase this initial value by 1 point. Power. As already mentioned, your power score will usually, but not entirely, be increased or decreased as a result of actions within the dream world or as a result of casting spells. Note once again that, unlike the other faculties, your power score may exceed its initial level. Equipment and potions. You will start your adventure with a bare minimum of equipment, but you may find other items during your travels. You are armed with your sword Telessa and are dressed in leather armor. So let's write that down. So sword, I'll just put the name of it, Telessa, and leather armor. I am going to take the potion of fortune. So I'll do that now. You have a backpack to hold your provisions, your water flask, and any items you come across which you want to keep. So we also have a water flask. Oh, water flask is 1 word apparently. So let's change that. There we go. Okay, in addition, you may take 1 bottle of a magical potion which will aid you on your quest. You may take 1 of the following. A potion of skill restores skill points. A potion of strength restores stamina points. A potion of fortune restores luck points and adds 1 to initial luck. These potions may be drunk at any time during your adventure except when you are engaged in a battle. Drinking the potion will restore your skill, stamina, or luck scored to its initial level, and in the case of the potion of fortune, increase the initial level of luck by 1 point. Each potion can be used only once. Note down on your adventure sheet which one you take with you and cross it off when you have drunk it. Okay, that's that done. There's the adventure sheet, which I'm pleased to see has not been written on, even though it's just a PDF scan. I do like to see that. Okay, and here's the background. So I'll put a timestamp in the video description that will take you straight to this this page. Anyway, here we go. Background. You wake up suddenly, shivering despite the warm midsummer night air. You are grateful to see the familiar walls and trappings of your hut. You know that you are secure, surrounded by the rest of your tribe and deep in Afan Forest. The dream from which you awoke momentarily escapes you. What was it? Then memory floods in on you. It was a dream of ordinary, everyday life in your village. Elves were out hunting, tilling the ground, collecting roots for medicine and food, cooking and repairing huts. You could not see yourself in the dream, but you were surveying the scene. Suddenly a voice spoke, a voice which simultaneously made everyone look up from their work and frightened you. It took you a moment to realize why it filled you with fear. It was your own voice. But what words are these you are speaking? I must leave you for a while, you said to your fellow elves. May the gods of the forest protect you all while I am gone. The demon prince Istra is just beginning to gather a vast force of damned, chaotic, and evil creatures beneath our forest. He plans to overrun the entire world, starting with the Wood Elves. His rule over his army is so cruel that even his foul minions would rebel if they could, but Istra holds them in his sway by magical power. Thus he must be overcome. If his sway is broken, his army will have no organization and power. They will be reduced to civil war between themselves, as opposed to a civil war that isn't between themselves. His army is not yet large. Yes, that is a tautology. All civil wars are between themselves. Anyway, his army is not yet large, so I must go now to face him, while there is still a chance of penetrating his defences. May I fare well, and fare you all well until I return. If I return. Otherwise, we will meet again in Ternan-Og, the island realm of the Son of the Sea, the land of youth where all must go when their time comes. At this point you woke up. You now take stock of the dream. You know full well that it is a message from your gods, yet never before have they chosen to communicate by having you speak their words. You realize that this must be their way of impressing upon you both the urgency of the task and the fact that you and only you have been chosen for the mission. But the idea terrifies you. As a demon prince, Istra cannot be killed by any weapon of any earthly race. Even the most magical sword of the high elves would not strike him down. So what can your lesser powers do against him? Nevertheless, you have been commanded to go, and you put your faith in the gods. They would not so command you if there were no hope. You decide to go back to sleep to see if you can dream a dream which will give you more information about the noble and awesome task facing you. Turn to 1. Okay, so I'll put another timestamp in the video description, taking you to here if necessary. Okay, okay. All right, let's read the first paragraph. In your dream, you walk through Afan Forest, yet it is both familiar and unfamiliar. The trees seem more alive, even more than they normally appear to your trained wood elf senses. The tiny noises of twigs and shrubs seem magnified. A vivid force plays over the surface of the trunks, being sustained by the vibrant, slow earth below and spreading to the smallest shoot on the topmost branch. Even while you dream, you are aware that this is a vision of the life force, which your people call Maella. It gives all things life, and a minute fragment of it is your power to dream and make magic. You do not recognize the particular part of the forest. I'll just show you the picture as well. You do not recognize the particular part of the forest in which you are. Perhaps it exists only in your dream, but perhaps it has a real counterpart. Afan Forest is vast, but only a small remnant of the one forest of old, when the 3 continents of Titan were unified. In your dream, branches bend down from the trees and usher you onwards along a trail which opens up in front of you. You are content to be following the trail, but you also detect urgency in the prodding of the branches. Where are the trees leading you? As soon as the question is formed in your mind, it is answered. The trees stop pushing you onwards, and you find yourself at the meeting of three ways. One way is the trail you have been following, the other two extend in different directions, forking like the angle of a serpent's tongue. Oh, I like that simile, it's quite nice. Forking like the angle of a serpent's tongue, lovely. The trees have stopped urging you, so this is where they were guiding you. In your dream, you know that the crossroads is more than just the meeting of three ways. The path behind you symbolizes your past life, and now, with your heart beating fast and with your mind strangely calm, you have a choice of two ways onward. But where do they lead? At the moment, they both look like greensward tracks through a still forest. Then you notice for the first time, it has only just appeared, a statue standing on the exact spot where the three ways meet. She is a beautiful goddess, but in human form, and you know neither her name nor her function. She is completely impassive, her arms are folded across her chest, and billowing robes shroud her body. Though made of stone, her eyes seem to bore into your mind and read your thoughts. Your thoughts, of course, are of which way you should turn at this junction. The statue's arms unfold, and a small black dog, which she was cradling in her arms and had been hidden among her false sleeves, leaps down and runs yelping past you and away through the trees behind you. But you know that, whatever the meaning of this, the dog is not showing you your path, and you remain watching the statue. Her arms continue to unfold, so slowly that it seems to take eternity, and meanwhile her robes take on the glow of a pale but brilliant blue, and her face unlocks gently into an enigmatic smile. Finally, her arms are simply pointing down each of the routes between which you have to choose. You look first down the one to your left. Instead of the plain forest path, lacking significant features, which you had seen before, there is now a highway that seems, contrary even to your dream expectations, to open up the more distant it gets. Now, the end, if there is an end, is indefinite, but such a sense of health and well-being issues from it that your heart is warmed, and the trees, as they recede into the distance, lose many of their tree-like features, but take on the essence of vitality. Down the other path, however, the trees and woodland shrubs become more and more grotesque until they are empty shells, not truly alive, but sustained by some fell force which exudes such a malignant power that your nostrils are assailed by the rotten odour of it, and as soon as your mind registers the full horror of the putrescence, in your dream you see its source. A wide area of the forest has collapsed into a pit whose bottom you cannot see, but whatever is there deep underground is causing the blight of the forest, your forest. You now see that the statue bears in either hand duplicates of your trusty sword Telessa. The beautiful goddess fades into invisibility, leaving a last glimpse of her enigmatic smile and letting the two swords fall to stick, quivering in the turf. I'll say that again. Leaving a last glimpse of her enigmatic smile and letting the two swords fall to stick quivering in the turf. Will you take up the one to your left and proceed towards the hearth and health of the forest? Turn to 306. Or will you take the one to the right and investigate what is causing your precious forest to suffer? Turn to 67. Okay. We're going to take the one to our left and turn to 306. So 306, here we go. That was a long paragraph, wasn't it? Right, okay. Even though you are already dreaming, your journey along the path seems dreamlike, but it is the smooth gliding motion of your body which gives this impression, not any dullness of your senses. On the contrary, the further you go along this path, the more alert you become, and the more aware of every colour, smell, and noise, of the springy feel of the turf, beneath your light elf feet, and even of a gradually increasing richness of atmosphere. Telessa gleams in your hand and seems to reflect an unknown source of light. The end of this journey comes unexpectedly. You are passing through a clearing when your feet simply refuse to go any further. Yeah, you look around. Evergreen trees surround the clearing and tower to the sky. As you watch, their tops bend over and form a dark canopy over your head. Then you notice 6 white elder trees in the middle of the clearing, and you know that you must stand in the center of the ring they form. As soon as you do so, a voice speaks. Is it from the trees, the air, or merely inside your mind? It is impossible to tell, but the voice, though quiet, is crystal clear, because there is utter calm, as if you and everything around you were holding its breath. Elden Urine, save the forest. You have seen and smelled the suffering it is enduring, yet this is only the smallest fraction of what it and the whole world will suffer. If the evil underground, will suffer if the evil underground is released. Prepare yourself if you will undertake this burden. For now, I tell you this: remember this sacred spot. Gain 1 power point. You now awaken from the dream. Turn to 380. Okay, so we get a power point. That's quite good. So we're now on to 15. Okay, turn to 380. Okay, and I will read this paragraph in the next video because that's the end of that. So next paragraph is 380, and I'll just say unread. I know we haven't done much in this part, but I hope you've enjoyed what we've read so far, and I hope that you can join me for the next part. Thanks very much for watching, and goodbye.